Okay, thank you very much everyone for joining us here for this pre-match press conference ahead of tomorrow's second semi-final, which is Pakistan versus Australia. We are delighted to be joined by Australia captain Aaron Finch, who will be taking questions today in this Zoom press conference. If you do have a question, please can I ask you to put your hand up in the platform, please? And if you are selected, you'll then need to unmute, ask your question, and then mute yourself immediately following. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Cole now, who will be selecting the questions. Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone. Yes, so if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll try to get everyone through the course of this conference. So we'll get started. We've got quite a few hands up there. We'll get started with Vishesh from ANI.
Hi, Aaron. I just wanted to ask, Pakistan has been able to get quick breakthroughs in each of their games. So do you think you and Warner would hold the key in seeing out Shaheen Shah Afridi's spell, and that would be the X factor in the match?
I think what we've seen over the course of the tournament is how important the power play is for batting and bowling. I think the stats around the middle overs and the death overs are pretty similar throughout, but the power play definitely holds the key. Shaheen's been in really good form for Pakistan. So that's going to be a crucial battle, no doubt.
I had a follow-up. How important do you think toss has been in this World Cup, and do you think losing the toss is a big disadvantage?
I think when it comes to finals, it doesn't make too much of a difference, to be honest. I believe getting runs on the board, especially in a final, can be really, really beneficial. So we've talked about it. We're confident that we can win if we happen to bat first or second.
Thanks, Aaron. Best of luck for the semi-finals.
Thanks, mate.
We'll go to Idris Malik.
Hi, Aaron. This is Idris Malik from Frontline. Pakistan is doing very well in this World Cup, but as per the previous records of the ICC knockout round competition between these two times, Australia has edge. Do you think that edge is removed now and Pakistan is in a better position? And how do you see this competition with the Pakistan? And secondly, do you think the spinners of the Pakistan are better than the Australia?
I think that obviously Pakistan have been in really good form. They're 5-0 in this tournament. They've played some really good cricket throughout. I don't think you can read too much into the history. Honestly, they're two totally different teams to what have played in the past. So, you don't look too deep into that. In terms of the Pakistan spin, they've had some really good success, obviously with Imad bowling in the power play predominantly, and then Shadab throughout their middle overs. They've been excellent. We've been really happy with how Adam Zampa's been going. He's bowled brilliantly throughout this tournament. He's taken big wickets at crucial times. He gets good players out. Maxwell's chipped in and done really well for the overs that he's bowled. So yeah, it's just a part of what's going to come down to a really, really close battle, no doubt.
Aaron, what do you think if there is the total of the match is a 160, 170? Is it good competition between both the teams, or there should be a less scoring match?
I'm not sure. We haven't seen the wicket yet, so yeah, it's hard to comment on that.
All right, thank you very much. Good luck.
7 News Sydney.
Aaron, Andrew McKinlay. Maxi hinted that you'll probably keep going with a three-pronged pace attack. And just on the subject of pitches, are you surprised with what those three quicks have managed to get out of the pitches in the UAE? And as a result thereof, will you maintain basically the same 11?
Yeah, we'll sit down and discuss the 11 this afternoon. There's no secret. Our quicks have done a really good job, and I think having wickets that have been used quite a bit throughout the IPL and now this tournament, I've been really surprised of how well they've played. They've done a magnificent job to keep the conditions really fair and I suppose excellent across all three venues for the Super 12s. I think, yeah, that's been brilliant. With the new ball, Cummins, Stark and Hazelwood have been fantastic. I think you can look at stats and you can deep dive into whether you should be bowling spin or quicks in the power play. Sometimes it just comes down to executing your best ball on the day over and over. So for us, that's been Stark and Hazelwood first couple of overs generally, and Cummo coming in on the back of that. So we've been really happy with how they've executed and kept pressure on oppositions. They're a world-class trio of quick bowlers, and we've got Kane Richardson there as well, who's arguably one of the best T20 bowlers in the world, who hasn't featured just yet. But we're really happy with how that's gone.
Last one from me, Finchy. Will you sit down as a group and watch England v New Zealand?
I'm not sure we'll do it as a group. I think that guys are pretty free to do their own thing. No doubt everyone will have an eye on it, whether it's here in the team room or individually. So, yeah, it's always exciting when you get to knockout stages of any tournament.
Luke Dufficy.
Thanks, Cole. Hi, Aaron. It's not often that Australia would be, I guess, classified as an underdog going into a cricket game, but do you maybe feel that you are, considering Pakistan's undefeated and the way you guys sort of, both teams came into this tournament?
Yeah, Pakistan have played brilliant cricket. I think the way that they've gone in the power play with the bat and ball has been really crucial to their success. I think in this format of the game, if you look over the last few series, everyone had written us off by now. So, yeah, you can read into that what you like.
Louis Cameron.
Hey, Finchy, when you do sit down to discuss that team, will there be a bit of a temptation, I suppose, to maybe recall Agar, just given the amount of right-handers Pakistan have, or is that not really a consideration?
Yeah, we consider everything. We literally throw up all possible combinations of teams and match that up against Pakistan, match that up with how we want to play as well. I think that's really important to keep in mind, that it's not purely just based on what the opposition looks like. It's also about how we want to structure up our 20 overs with the ball. So, yeah, everyone will be thrown into the ring. Agar, Kane Richardson, Josh Inglis, Mitch Swepson as well. Like it's not just about going in there and looking at stats and saying, oh, this should be the 11. It's about structuring up how we want to use our resources as well. So it'll all be thrown up, no doubt.
Just a bigger picture one, Aaron. I guess some might say it might be the biggest, the biggest T20 game of a lot of you guys' careers, and it's a pretty experienced group across all formats. Does the general feeling around the team, is this kind of the best T20 side you felt you've led, just given the everyone's available and everything like that?
Yeah, it's a really good side, no doubt. We've got a lot of experience. It's not so much as a team, but individually we've got a lot of experience. In other formats, we've played a lot of cricket together, but not so much in this T20 format. So, it's a really exciting group. We feel as though we've got a lot of bases covered with the bat. We've got guys who can go big. We've got guys with power. We've got great spin options, all-round options, quick. So, yeah, I love the makeup of the squad. It just comes down to the day, doesn't it? And that's what you're judged on at the end of the day.
Shamik Chakrabarti.
Hi, Aaron. Good luck for the game.
Thank you.
Aaron, as captain, how happy you are to see David coming out of a bad moment? I mean, it was difficult for him in the IPL. Runs had dried up. Now this tournament will seem a sort of resurrection. As far as his mental space is concerned, and from a captain's perspective, how happy are you to see him coming back to the group?
Yeah, I was never worried one bit about Dave's form. He's one of the all-time great batsmen of our era. I think you can look at it as though he had a really lean IPL and then the start of this tournament, but the two halves of the IPL were a long way apart. So if you miss out a couple of times at the end of the first part, which was in India, and then the first couple of games in Dubai, it looks as though a run of form is a pattern there. But I certainly wasn't worried. He's all class. He's trained hard. He's mentally fresh. He's ready to go. So it's great to see the best of him, fit and firing. As we all know, it's a great sight when he's up and about and scoring runs for Australia.
Andrew McCormack.
G'day, Finchy. Just before you said you made a little cheeky reference to people sort of writing you off. I mean, I know at the time, the last couple of weeks, you say probably the outside noise doesn't really get in, but now that maybe you've exceeded some expectations, do you feel like you have proved the people wrong? And was that maybe a bit of a motivating factor at the start of the tournament and in your form turnaround?
No, we didn't speak about it at all, to be honest. It's just one of those things that in the lead up to the tournament, you tend to hear things or see the odd quote or comment that people have written you off, and it's interesting how the narrative can change really quick. About 10 days ago, our team was too old, and now we're an experienced team. So that's just how it all gets portrayed. And from day one, I've had a real lot of confidence in the way that we've gone about this with the squad that we've got, and I don't think that we've exceeded our expectations whatsoever. We came here with a really clear plan to win this tournament, and we're still alive to do that.
And just quickly, if I can, I mean, you've been around, obviously, the white ball setup for so long. Is it time the coaching roles or the support roles are split up in terms of, I mean, not talk about any one individual in terms of Justin Langer, but do you need someone as a T20 coach who heads it up, and then that person can take care of that alone, or do you think it's too big a job for one person now?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think it probably depends on what the head coach wants at the end of the day, because over the next couple of years with a lot of tours to be made up and a lot of games that need to be fitted back into the future tours program with the ones that were missed in the heart of COVID there. So I think that there will probably be a little bit of a crossover of formats again, like we saw what was planned with the South Africa and New Zealand series. So I think that down the track that's something, if they keep crossing over, that'll have to be thought out. But as it stands at the moment, I think it's going okay. There might be some questions once those tours start to become really condensed and back up with each other, that support staff, players, coaches, team managers, physios, everyone will need a bit of a chop out and to be able to get out of these bubbles that we're in at the moment. So I think just over the next probably 2 or 3 months, that'll be a little bit clearer.
Thanks, mate. Go well.
Thanks, Macca.
Dan Breddy.
G'day, Aaron. Just a question about, I suppose, your own, time as captain. The fact that it's a World Cup semi-final, the chance to vie for a trophy. There's obviously a World Cup in Australia next year. I mean, how big does this loom in, I suppose, what you've wanted to achieve as a leader?
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's all built up. I think one thing I'm really proud of is how we've started to uncover a little bit more depth in T20 cricket in Australia, and that's probably come on the back of, like I said, that tour to New Zealand in particular that was going to cross over with the South African Test. So some guys who mightn't have got an opportunity in the past, if everyone was available, they got a good opportunity to test themselves in international cricket. So I think that holds us in good stead down the track. And then we go to the West Indies and Bangladesh with some guys who rested from that series, which then gave a little bit more opportunity to some guys as well. So I think in the long run, over the next 2 or 3 years, that this period of Australian cricket will help us uncover more talent and more depth especially in the white ball format. So that's something I'm really proud of. And although the results previous to this World Cup hadn't gone our way a huge amount, there was so much learning that we got out of that.
And just one that's a bit more specific. Obviously, there was that sort of issue against England where you lost early wickets. You had Maxi come in quite early against the new ball. Has your thinking developed any further there, whereby, say, if you're 3 down, he comes in after the power play regardless, or are you thinking the same way?
No, that was the plan from the start of the tournament, to be honest. So the only change with the England game is that we went in with 6 specialist batters instead of the 7, which we've used in the other 4 games. So that left us with a decision to make whether Maxi went in the power play or we held him back. And we felt as though for us to win that game, you've got to throw all your aces up front when you've only got 6 batters. And that didn't work that day, but that's okay. We've learned our lesson from that, and we're still here in a semi-final to push on. So
just to clarify that, so if you play 7 batters, he would be held back until over 7+.
Yeah, generally, I think that's a pretty common theme with Maxi's role in our team, in other teams that he's played, and he's someone who plays spin really well through the middle. And he can be really dominant with 5 fielders out from ball 1, which is an amazing skill. So that's obviously that's what we've done in the previous parts of this tournament.
Thanks, Aaron.
Rob Forsyth.
G'day, Aaron. Bit of a follow-up to Dan's first question. Just big picture, how would you describe the enormity of winning this tournament? I suppose in the context of Australia having never won it, but also what's happened in the past 18 months. And, the plans were quite well set, Feb 2020, and COVID's disrupted, the host country, the lead-up series, the ranking slide and all that.
Oh, I'm not too fussed with the ranking slide, to be honest. Like I said, we've played a lot of overseas tours. We've learned a lot out of them tours as well, which has been a really important part of the growth of not just this team, but the depth of T20 cricket in particular in Australia. So, it'd mean a lot to win it, but yeah, we've still got a semi-final to focus on first, and coming up against a very, very good and informed Pakistan side will be a great challenge, and I think that'll really test us to see where we are in the world.
And you talked a bit earlier about Adam Zampa. Do you get the sense he's gone to another level at this World Cup? I mean, everyone's seen what he's done for a few years, but to perform the way he has, often as the sole frontline spinner at a big tournament, what's stood out from your perspective? And did you get a sense maybe that some teams had even sort of underrated him at the start of the tournament?
Yeah, I don't think that anyone's underrated him. He's been a wonderful bowler for a few years now in the white ball formats for Australia. He's someone who loves the competitiveness or loves the fight. Being a spinner, you obviously cop some tap at times, but his attitude, along with Ash Agar, Mitch Swepson, they've been working really closely. Maxi as well. They work so closely. They're a tight-knit group that they're continually learning from each other. So I think Zamp's biggest strength over his career is that he's been able to get good players out on good wickets consistently, and that's a great skill to have. So yeah, he hasn't surprised any of us one bit. We've seen how good he is, but it just comes down to him being a really good bowler. There's nothing more to it than that. His confidence is high at the moment and bowling nicely.
Nairika Reina.
Good morning, Skipper. First of all, good luck for the tomorrow semi-final. My question for you is that in T20 cricket, we talk a lot about momentum, and Australia has gained some momentum after losing to England. So, in your opinion, how important is the momentum against a Pakistan team which has won all of its matches in the group stage? And also a word on Mitchell Marsh on how crucial he has been for you guys at number 3.
Yeah, I don't think that momentum is something that really goes over in a tournament like this. I don't think it carries over a huge amount because you're playing a totally different opposition, different conditions. It's going to be a different wicket again. So I don't think you can read too much into anything like that. One thing that all you can control is your process and your planning, and we've been doing that really well. So we've got confidence in that. Like I've said before, Pakistan are playing really good cricket, so it'll be a great test. And in terms of Mitchell Marsh, he's been excellent for us. His ability to bat at number 3 and be really aggressive and take the game on has been really pleasing. The overs that he bowled the other day against a really dominating West Indies batting lineup were really crucial in dragging that score down to 160. And he's someone who works hard on his bowling, and yeah, he's a huge asset for our team.
Andrew McGlashan.
Hey Aaron, do you think going into a semi-final it's any advantage that you guys have been playing must-win cricket for your last 2 games, knowing that one mistake would have sent you out of the tournament?
Sorry, say that again, mate. I just missed the middle part of that question.
Going into a semi-final, do you think it's advantageous that you were playing must-win cricket for the last 2 group games?
Oh, I don't think it makes too much difference, to be honest. In a tournament with the format being straight to semi-finals and a final, you know that you're on the tightrope from day one, and that first game against South Africa could have gone either way. We got over the line there in a really close one. We've played some really good cricket towards the back end after that England game, so I don't think it makes too much difference, to be honest, mate. Pakistan have been excellent, particularly in like the start of this tournament to build their bank, so to speak. So it's not too much.
And just a quick one, slightly more personally on you. I don't know if you're aware, but you're 25 runs away from 10,000 in T20. I know purely winning will be your focus this week, but just on a personal level, longevity, consistency in this format, is that something that leaves you quite proud? Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's nice. Be nice to tick it off, but I don't really play for personal stuff, to be honest. That's the side piece. My greatest memories are going to be winning tournaments, winning a World Cup for Australia. It's not about getting 100 or doing something special individually. I'd rather get a duck and lose than I'd rather get a duck and win than 100 and lose. So that's them personal things don't play on my mind one bit. But yeah, it's just purely down to business of trying to win this first game against Pakistan.
Thanks, Aaron.
Jalissa Apps.
Hi, Aaron. Just wondering about Matthew Hayden. What's it like to know that you're going to come up sort of against a fellow Aussie in that side? And have you seen him around at all, or do you sort of stick to your own camp there?
We saw him around yesterday, actually. I think Pakistan moved into the hotel yesterday. So, saw him around. I think it's great to see greats of Australian cricket crossing over into other countries and helping out as much as they can. I think we've got a rich history of great players helping other countries in terms of franchise cricket that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Shubhan Madan.
Yeah. Hi, Skipper. So my question is to you that when you select the squad in your 11 for the T20, how you go according to the man-to-man marking or the forms of the players?
No, we structure it up either way. We obviously look at the opposition and their strengths and weaknesses and what resources we've got to match up against that. But we also have to look at what we do really well and stay true to that. I think if we get seduced into looking purely only at matchups, then you probably go away from your own strengths quite a bit. So yeah, it's a bit of give and take. You take all the information in and make a judgment call there. But yeah, you've got to look after your own backyard first.
Last one here, folks. Matt Roller from ESPN. Matt.
Yeah, hi Aaron. Just to pick up on sort of talking about the balance of the side, which I guess has been a theme throughout. I guess just to zoom out and maybe compare this to previous T20 World Cups when Shane Watson's always been in the side, could you sort of talk about the challenge of those decisions around balance for you as a captain, especially without someone who's maybe quite as much of a genuine all-rounder in the way Watson was at his peak?
Yeah, it can be a tough balancing act. I think the fact that we've got the three all-rounders in Maxwell, Marsh and Stoinis to bowl them 4 overs has been really beneficial for us, and we know how good Maxi can be in the power play, but also through the middle overs when the matchups are right. So that's given us a lot of confidence to be able to go in with the 4 specialist bowlers plus the all-rounder, and that's probably something that we've wrestled with in the past. And Mitch Marsh's bowling has been excellent over the last couple of series, and against Pakistan, against West Indies the other day. I don't think Stoinis bowled yet in this tournament, but he's had some really good success, particularly towards the back end of the innings as well. So, it obviously makes a really tough decision, but having them all-rounders there, especially ones who offer so much flexibility to the side, with Mitch batting at 3, Maxi can be that floater anywhere from sort of number 3 down to number 5 or 6, and Stoin with his real power game towards their middle and back end overs. It does give us a lot of flexibility with the selection.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks to Finchy for joining us today, guys. Catch up with everyone after the semi tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.